Good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad that you could join us today. Today, we're going to spend some time and showing you how to do pearl art. The way I got into it, I did not know anything about it till one day going through a hobby center and seeing this one particular bag full of beads, which are very similar to this bag I have in my hand. Now it's got 3,500 beads inside this to make this particular pattern. And for myself, I'm a big Batman fan, even though I'm an old fart. That was my first project, and that's what really got me into this. And it's an art where you could say its ages 5 to 99, though the younger ones will definitely need some assistance because an iron is needed on one of the processes. So there will be needing an adult to be present with the children. Now, pattern-wise, again, you'll need a pegboard, number one, to do this project. But there are many, many, many different ones. Different ones for children, like different shapes, toys, like faces, Disney, shapes, animals, etc. And then when you get into the other stages, like adults and that, you have the square ones. Now they will interlock to make big ones because sometimes you will need, of course, more than one to do a certain pattern, which it took me 6 of these to build the one big one that I'm going to show you in a moment. But you can also just buy one big one that's already together. And this is designed for mostly like those 3,500 and up beads. Now, there are some I've seen in the hobby center that are just outright gorgeous in that they're like a big wall hanging. Like you'll need more than just one of these even. So I'm showing you that before we get started here. This is the one very first one I did and completed. And that's that's taken, it took me a week long to do it. There's just under 3,500 beads to do it. But that's the finished art right there.
And it's in a frame.
And I framed it, yes.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, Ryan.
Now, today, we both, myself and my sister Martina, have picked up a pattern out of books that you can get at hobby centers. If you luck out, you might be able to find one at a thrift store. But there's many, many patterns, and you can get one that has strictly animals, flowers, wildlife, the whole, whichever you're interested in. Now, this particular one, I'll show you what we're going to do today, is an eagle. The one I'm going to do. Now, all that is needed is just this one pegboard. And what it'll do is you line it up with that picture over top. Line it up, which is very simple. A little bit of tape will be needed because it does shift a little bit on you. And simply follow the pattern underneath with the different colors of beads that it's called for. And you'll have a complete picture once you're done. Now, I have done one, pre-done one, because we would not have enough time to do one completed today, but I'll go through the stages. Like I say, this is number 1, finding a pattern. Number 2, lining it up, taping it down, and then starting. Now, also, you can easily make your own pattern. This one's hard to see, but this is just a piece of graphic paper. And on that paper is the Toronto Blue Jays which I got off a Lego box simply by, with of course the bricks, and then just putting the colors of the brick onto this paper, ready to do the pearl art with it. Now I have not done this one yet, but looking forward to doing it. So you can come up with your own designs. Like, there's many things you can do with it.
Okay.
Now you can buy, again, if you have kids and grandkids and you want to do it, you can buy kits that are already, they got all the beads with them and everything else. Like this one, for example, is the boys with the trucks in it. It comes with everything except the iron. It's got the pegboard with it, the beads, the instructions, everything is in one of these kits. And they come in multiple girls things, like, and Star Wars and Disney, like everything is out there for you, depending on what you'd like. So for now, we will get started and actually putting the beads together. And you will also, comes with most kits, very, very simple. You'll also receive a little pair of plastic tweezers that'll help you pick up the bead and put it in place on the pegboard. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going to be quiet here for just a moment. If Martina has anything to say, that'd be fine, but I'm going to get started here.
Did you want to show the eagle finished, or you want to show it after?
Now I can show it. It's very simple, like I told you, with the lining this up, taping it, and then putting the beads where it was needed. I have one complete, ready to iron and show you. Now you have to be very, very careful. You don't want to sneeze or anything, because these are very, very loose and delicate. It's very hard to show. I'm not sure if you can see it.
I think we can see it.
But there it is, completed. Now I'm going to go to the next stage, where this is where an adult is needed to do the melting of the beads together.
Okay.
Now, heat-wise, you can use you just use your normal household iron at medium heat. It does not do any harm to your iron whatsoever. You would place a piece of parchment, excuse my, but the paper, parchment paper,
yeah,
on top, and then simply like this.
Oh, see, we lost some.
See, we lost some beads already.
Oh, okay.
And then take the iron. It takes about 10 seconds and just circular motions. You do not want to press down on the iron, because then it'll crush some of these, and it'll it will not make the art is nice looking once it's complete, because some will be all melted, over melting. Or the same with the iron. Now I used a different iron that I got, but there's no setting on that one, and it got way too hot. As you can, it even burned the paper, and that should not happen. So back to the household iron. You can buy one like that they use with this art, and it's just a little small one. And designed for this type of work. Now I'm just going to need a couple minutes here to correct what happened here, and shouldn't take very long, and then I'll go to back while the iron is warming up.
Plug it in?
Yes, please. And we'll go to the following step.
Okay. And as Brian asked me then to share a little bit while he's doing that, there are two, sorry, I have to move these. There are two designs I looked at and loved. Of course, Valentine's theme. So I was going to give this to Brian. Will you be mine? And I also found LOL, laugh out loud. So for today, and Brian set me up with, what do you call this again?
Like a pegboard.
A pegboard, which I'm going to attach and then use some masking tape to put it in place. So I'm following the instructions that the teacher gave me. And then I will start. Now, as Brian mentioned to me, he said, don't get so excited. You're not going to get it all done in 15 minutes. It'll take some time. But I will get started.
And one of the things I did forget to mention before she gets started, when you're doing this, highly recommend you start from the top and work down, because if you start at the bottom, your hand's always going to be knocking it, and you'll be constantly putting these beads back in place. So always start at the top and work downward.
So I shouldn't start with pink. I should start with black.
Yes.
Oh, may I have your black, please? And Brian has sorted all these lovely beads. I've seen him for days sorting them. So we don't have to go digging through the bags and bags and bags of beads that he gets. So we are actually using 2 cell phones plus StreamYard today. Not bad for 2 retired people. But what I'm hoping to do is use bits and pieces from our phones and kind of splice them into the StreamYard recording, so that we, on YouTube, you will be able to find this this adventure that we're having, and in its entirety. Okay, so while you're fixing up your thingy there, I will get started with bead number 2. Okay, so Brian, you say we need patience when we do this art?
Yes.
And do you find this relaxing, or is it frustrating?
No, very much relaxing, and it takes your mind off of whatever you were thinking or having a bad day. Just if you are also familiar with the diamond painting, it's very, very similar.
Diamond art, or is
diamond
that what it's
art?
called?
Yes.
Okay. I've never done diamond art either. Just like I shouldn't say I've never done this. I've helped the grandchildren years ago with some of the smaller ones that Brian was showing. And of course I did the ironing. Oops. But I have not done one like this myself.
Martina's grandson, which is 10, loves doing this now. He has a big project coming up, like the big ones I showed you, of the 3,500 beads. He has not started yet, but the next time he visits, he wants to get started. And it's of Star Wars, his favorite.
What is that dude's name? Yoda or something?
Yeah.
Yoda.
Okay, so I'm going to step back now. And now that I got it all repaired again, and the iron is warming up for me. It just broke again. See how
Oh no.
It is very, very delicate. You've got
Do
to.
you want the tweezers
Yeah.
there? Okay, now that table is on wheels, Brian. If you and the iron and your artwork are zooming off here, it's because everything is on a table with wheels. And I'm just thinking that while Brian is working with the art some more, that we live in an apartment, and you would maybe think, if you yourself are living in an apartment, that, well, I don't have room for art, I don't have room to do this, and like maybe you don't, but we actually make it work. We have our closets, where we put things away when we're not using them. We have like this table and the table there that the computer is on, like this one. They're foldable, right? So we can fold them and we put them in the laundry room or behind the bedroom door. We have our stands here, for light. Everything can be put away. It doesn't have to be in the way. We just need to be diligent in making sure that when we're not using whatever we are creating with, that we put things away. And it makes it for interesting living, for sure. But this is how we make it work.
And also, once you do iron it, I recommend you put something a little heavy on it for a few minutes, because it does have a tendency of warping or curling a little bit on you. So I will. Oh,
What's
not
happening?
hot.
It's not hot enough?
Not quite hot enough.
You have to turn it up some? Okay. Yeah, I mentioned to Brian that I would use the steamer when I did the grandchildren's before, but he didn't think that was a good idea. So
Yes, do not use steam. That is not right. And do once again, do not press down or you'll just melt.
I did that too. Some of them were pretty squished. Yeah, very squished actually. So I'm learning, Brian.
And it's also up to you. If you want to iron both sides. Myself, I prefer just one side because it just looks so much better. But if you can do so much with these things. Like they make key tags, like necklaces. There's so much that is available to do with this craft.
There, I see them getting a bit flat at the top, if that's what you want, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. All right, I just used Brian's phone to show what he's doing. Gonna move it back. There we go. Yeah, so if any of you watching, even right now, like we can't see any comments or we can't see that. We will probably be able to do that as we get more experienced in doing these videos, but not today. But if any of you would like to have Brian's 10 tips of what to have on hand as you're engaging in Perler art, please put below the number 10. Okay, if you put the number 10 in the comments, then we will know that you would like Brian's list of 10, what did I call it, Brian? 10 things you must have. 10 must-haves? 10 must-haves. And he will put it together, and then we will make sure you get it sent to you via Messenger. All right? So unless if you would like to have it sent to you via email, please make sure we have your email address. Okay, well, I have almost 2 rows done, Brian.
Okay, yeah, and I did not have the iron hot enough.
Okay.
So,
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, I see some of them have.
yes, but
Okay.
This is the most trickiest. Like even myself, how I've made 3 or 4 of them, and it's the ironing that really you have to be patient. You do not want to rush it, and then just like I say, you've done all that hard work. For example, Batman, I should not have done that the very first one. I should have started smaller because I literally spent a whole day being a doctor correcting like where it wasn't totally melted and trying to get them back in place, and it wasn't fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not hot enough. I can't.
Okay. So you're going to.
Okay, I've got to. I've turned up the iron, and I'll give it a moment here. And
Okay. So I have some ideas of what we will do next week, and but have not yet made a final decision. But you will know as we get closer. I will post a link to the final video, a YouTube link to the final video, and for you to take a look at. There's one other thought I had, Brian. So both of us, you and I, are now retired, and but we're not ready to just sit down and be in a lazy boy, twiddling our thumbs. We both love creating. We both love art. We love music. We maybe one of these days, Brian and I will play a song for you on ukulele because we're both learning. And so what I'm trying to say is if you are retired and you're looking for something to do, ask yourself, what do you really like? Do you love gardening and you never had time to do gardening? Do you have you always wanted to learn how to do watercolors or to do perler art? What is it that you have always wanted to do but didn't get to do yet? And for those who are not retired, as you go through your day, and like what you were saying, Brian, about being this is a very relaxing activity. Maybe you're in a stressful job or your life is stressful. Maybe like our life was just kind of turned upside down with health diagnoses. So maybe you really need something to relax, to just be present with an activity in calmness, with peace. This may be something you'd want to try out. And again, like Brian said, you can get some of these packages. And I just want to make it very clear, we're not at this time, we're not advertising any kind of product or anything like that. We will in the future, but not today. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. These are actually just items that Brian found. But even going to the dollar store or going into one of the art stores in Edmonton, I've been to many art stores in the States. Brian, was that Hobby Lobby we went to?
Yes.
We actually went to the Hobby Lobby, and we found good, I don't want to use the word cheap, very reasonable pieces that we could work on that help us relax more. So I think that's almost it for me, Brian, for my, my chat.
Now I did iron now, and I had 2, which is very good on the 4th one, loose beads that didn't quite connect. So I'm just putting those back in place. I will give it the iron.
I see what you mean, that ironing is challenging, and it doesn't just happen quickly. So, and like Brian said, our grandchildren are into this kind of art as well. And, you know, grandchildren have challenges in their life too. And parents, I remember being a parent of young children, you know.
Now here,
so
finally,
busy.
here it is completed. Sorry, I got my hand in the
Is
way
it
there.
hot?
No.
Oh, beautiful, Brian.
And this probably is the best I've melted yet.
Okay.
It just takes patience and lots of practice, like everything else.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to show it in the cameras too? And then I'll just finish saying about grandchildren.
In this particular one, excuse me, took 504 beads to complete.
Wow. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So just to complete then my thought about grandchildren, you know, when grandchildren come to hang out with grandparents, they might love to do something like this to relax from the stresses of school or the stresses of all the sports that they're in and extracurricular activities, so on and so forth. So would you agree? Like the
Most definitely,
and right?
And a lot of this also, another place to look is thrift stores. I'm a thrifter, and you can get this stuff for like $5 for a big massive container, like that's got 5,000, 10,000 multicolored beads in it. And that's where Martina was saying how I brought them home and spent a week like just sorting them all out. Now, you don't have to, of course. You can just pick them out when you choose or do it to your liking. But this kind of thing is definitely in the thrift stores. If you look in their craft section, you will find something, I'm sure.
Okay.
But once again, I believe we are finished, and we appreciate your time and watching us. And if you have any questions whatsoever, like Martina said, just write them down and we will get back to you as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now. See you next week.